All right, hello guys. Welcome to another edition of the Bryan Turner Basketball Podcast. And yeah, man, I'm on fire, man. I'm trying to keep my energy up, man. These last little couple of weeks, man, I've been trying to go a little bit hard and putting out content, and just having just a new resurgence of and just kind of getting out and about, man, or conversating with folks on the game of basketball and where we are right now. If you have been listening and if you've been kind of chiming in, man, I've been going heavy in the playoffs, man, about the NBA. So go check out some of my latest lives and my latest videos, or even the few podcasts that I've put out and kind of touching on some of the NBA content. And I kind of want to keep it going with this episode. And this is, it can start a barbershop conversation, man. Anytime you walk into any place where if it's folks that know sports, man, they conversating about the GOAT conversation between LeBron and Jordan. So I kind of want to head in that direction, but I also want to put a little spin on it because what's in the news right now, and I'm hot off the interview with Club Shay Shay and Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley basically had a few things that he said where he kind of hoped that LeBron kind of retired soon. And I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna put this up here for the folks that are listening to this on all the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, or any podcast network. I'm gonna read it out, but at the same token, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you pay attention to what I have up on the screen. I'm gonna try to share this real quick, and we kind of do a little deep dive and break this down because it's gonna lead into this conversation that I had. And it says, so the name of the story was printed on May 12th, and it's from a guy named Phil Stead, and it says NBA legend urges LeBron James to retire soon. Okay. LeBron James has been incredibly productive in his 21st year of the NBA. Man, 21 years in the NBA. But legend Charles Barkley thinks he should retire. All right. James was the Lakers' best player throughout the regular season, and in the franchise 5 games against the Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs, they ended up losing. At 39, he averaged 25 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists on 54% shooting from the field during the regular season. Now just think about that. 25 points a game with 26 points a game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, shooting 50% from the field during the regular season. In the postseason, he averaged 28, 6, and 8, shooting 50% from the field. But Barkley thinks James should consider retiring with his dignity still intact. So the reason that he said that, and I kind of, I understand where he's coming from, but just watching guys, man, be that productive in the NBA, it's kind of like smoke and mirrors. LeBron wants to play and he wants to win and he wants to do things on his terms. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. But will a franchise continue to allow him to be that type of player in year 22, year 23, year 24? We're not talking about the age. We're talking about the years he's been in the NBA. Okay. So that right there just stood out to me. And so I understand where he's coming from when he talks about his dignity. He needs to lead with his dignity because we've seen so many guys that we look at as being stellar players. And you can go back as far as, and again, that conversation from the Club Shay Shay and Charles Barkley, he alluded to Larry Bird and the Dr. J situation where, if you guys know, Larry Bird and Dr. J had a huge altercation, and I think in like the preseason, where Bird just kept telling his teammates, man, get this old man off of me. Get this old man off of me. And Dr. J just had enough. And he ended up, man, taking matters into his own hands and ended up, man, piecing Larry Bird up. And so that's pride. That's a pride level that we all get at a certain age, to where it's just kind of like, you know what? I know my mind is telling me that I can still play this game, but at the same time, my body is not letting me do things that I once did before as a 22-year-old, as a 24-year-old. And so Barkley understands that his last couple of years in the league, he was just a shell of himself. If you guys remember Shaq, his last couple of years in the league, just a shell of himself. We do not want to see a situation where LeBron is just a shell of himself, because we've just been seeing LeBron just be this phenomenal athlete for so many years. Okay. Even when you look at a Kobe Bryant, his last couple of games, I mean, don't get me wrong, when he had his Achilles surgery, you know, he was the lean Kobe Bryant, man, just, man, looking like a beast. But he came back a little chunky, came back with a little bit more body fat, you know, shooting the three in the corner a little bit more, not attacking the rim, a lot of layups. If you guys remember Kobe these last couple of games last year in the league, and then we all know that he ended on a high note with scoring, I think, like 60 plus points to go out his last game. But do we want to wait around for LeBron to be that type of player? And just from the notion of Charles Barkley, he's saying that no, he needs to get out with his pride, with his dignity, and not let these young guys that's 22. We just had a conversation talking about Anthony Edwards and all of these young guys coming in the league, to where it's just like, come on. And we all know LeBron wants to win at his own pace. He wants to win his way. And to have a LeBron like that come off the bench, that's not going to happen. We've seen some of the greats, the Carmelos, D Wades, the Allen Iversons, just not look like themselves the last year or the last couple of years in the league. And so it gets me to this point to where I had to pose the question, will the Lakers let LeBron James finish his story? Will the Lakers let LeBron James finish his story? Now, I'm taking cues from finishing the story from, if you guys know, big wrestling fan, huge WWE fan. And growing up, man, loved Dusty Rhodes, the late, great Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, son of a plumber. Dusty Rhodes didn't get a chance to win the championship in the WWE, WWF. And so Cody Rhodes, his son, when he came back to the WWE a couple years ago, the whole storyline was, can he finish the story? Will he be able to finish the story? So we went on this roller coaster ride in the WWE, watching Cody Rhodes, man, month after month, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, try to get to the point where he can dethrone the Roman Reigns, the world heavyweight champion, who was champion at the time for almost 300 and something days, 600 days, however many days he was the champion. But he ended up losing at WrestleMania the first year, WrestleMania 40, I believe. Then we had to wait a whole nother year. In January, we watched Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. And we said, come on, they're not going to let him get all the way to WrestleMania this time and not let him win the championship. And lo and behold, The Rock comes back into the WWE and moves Cody Rhodes to the side. He said, no, I'm going to take on the tribal chief Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 for the championship. And so what? We got the Cody crybabies who's mad about it. But the universe spoke. The powers that be allowed Cody to finish his story. And for all you wrestling fans out there, know that WrestleMania 41, he ended up defeating Roman Reigns to finish what he called his story of finally getting his father's dream of winning the WWE championship, which was the championship that Dusty Rhodes wasn't able to get. So he finished his story. That story was his dad laid the foundation down for him to get that. And let's talk about fatherhood for a minute. Your biggest ally on the battlefield and your biggest ally should be your son, should be the person that you groom to no matter what happens to you, your son is going to avenge your death. He's going to avenge anything that happens to his father. That's how the story should be. So you're talking about a legacy. You're talking about keeping a legacy going, and riding shotgun next to you should be your number one partner, your number one ace, your number one ally should be your son. You're trying to teach this young person all the different things that you had growing up, the ways of the world, the way of life, instilling jewels and morals in them, instilling principle in them. To one point, he gets old enough to where he can kind of carry the torch. Okay, so this is not just a story to just be for the sake of a story, but again, this has been laid down the foundation for years and years and years to come, that you plant a seed in your young child's faith. You plant a seed in your young child's ear for them to continue the legacy, to continue the story. We saw it with Cody Rhodes. We saw it with Dusty Rhodes. And now we're seeing it with LeBron James when he finally came out. And he put a lot of pressure on his son, Bronny. And he said, you know what? I'm going to play just as long as I can play with my son. He wants to play basketball in the NBA at the highest level of professional sports with his son, okay? His namesake, LeBron James Jr. So he planted that seed in Bronny's ear, probably from the crib, probably gave him the ball in the crib, told him, man, look, you're carrying this torch. You're gonna be the next big thing. So he put a lot of pressure on his son. So the question I ask is, will the Lakers let LeBron James finish his story? So we all know that, Bronny James, son of NBA legend LeBron James, was a McDonald All-American coming out. And he pretty much, he had all of the hype surrounded him as a 4-star, 5-star recruit coming out, and he chose USC. And I think this past year he probably averaged maybe around 5 or 6 points a game. And so, everybody was just on this kid, piling up on him. He's not ready. But he decided to put his name in the NBA draft. And whether if you like that or not, he's going to have access to certain things that other students, other players won't have access to. He's literally been watching a GOAT or a legend grow up ever since he was young. So when people talk about whether or not if they should draft this kid or whether or not is he ready for the NBA, what we do know is that he knows how to handle himself around pros. He knows how to handle himself around the limelight. He knows how to handle himself around the media, organizations, the locker room. We do know that because he's been watching it pretty much his whole life. But again, will the Lakers allow LeBron to finish his story? When we talk about great organizations, and there's only some great organizations in each sport, what we realize is that those organizations take care of their players. It's like a family. Once you come into this family, we're going to treat you like family. We're going to treat you well. Whatever we have is yours. All the bells and whistles come with it. When LeBron decided to go to LA to play for the historical franchise of the Lakers, one thing that he probably planted the seed in the Lakers organization is that, hey, I got a son. He's a basketball player. He has all of my attributes except my height, but he's going to be a star too. And I would love to ride my story out and to finish my story with having my son play with me. We've never seen anything like that in professional sports, to where someone that's in the GOAT category is able to have that cachet to pull his son up and to play long enough and to be productive long enough to where he can pull that type of string. He can pull that card. And I want to go on record and I want to say that the Lakers owe that to him. They owe that to him to let him finish his story. And I think not only do they owe that to him, the NBA owes that to him, because we've never seen this guy have any type of blemish, any type of bad publicity, any type of stain on his resume. We haven't seen it. His biggest, what we will call his biggest flub or mess up or blunder would be him picking Miami. Taking his talents to South Beach. But when you look back on that, it was genius. That was his time to go to college, to learn how to win. So when we fast forward a couple years later, he goes back to Cleveland and brings Cleveland a championship. Hell of a story. Hell of a way to write the book. It could have ended right there. He could have rolled off in the sunset. But he got another act, an act 3, probably an act 2, act 3, to where he said, I'm going to go to LA, bring LA a championship. And how sweet would it be if, again, the Lakers are able to let him finish his story? Because if they let him get away, man, the only franchise I feel like he can go to would be New York or back to Cleveland. Because it's going to be a situation where we're going to get a farewell tour. And if we get a farewell tour, because this is going to be a situation where we get a farewell tour, we're going to get one. But what city are we going to get it? And what jersey is LeBron going to be wearing when we go through that farewell tour? All right. So again, LeBron is owed the fact, he's owed, in my opinion, he's owed the opportunity to have his son play with him. Now, I feel like his son is going to be a better NBA player than he is a college player. Two totally different type of games. But at the same time, what bigger story do we have in the sports world where we get one of the greatest of all times able to play a game with his son? And oh my God, if he's able to win a championship with his son, basically taking the veterans minimum, because he has maybe 2 years, probably maybe 2 years left at peak LeBron, because again, he's had so many different eras to where you can consider it being his prime. But not to mention, we're on the downside of what we consider his prime. But at the same time, can we get a LeBron averaging 15 points a game, 10 rebounds, shooting corner threes, but he's playing with a whole bunch of young players? Wouldn't be bad to think about that. Can we get a LeBron posting up, being a post player, banging people around, averaging 10 points or 10 rebounds, a double-double, only playing limited minutes, and not having to carry a whole bunch of weight on a team that could possibly win? I don't know. But at the same time, I just really, really hope that the Lakers will wake up and understand that, hey, we're watching greatness. We're not going to let anybody get out the door. As much as, we hate and we badmouth LeBron based on how many coaches he gets fired or players that can't play with him or play around him. At the end of the day, man, this guy has superseded all expectations for an athlete. So hats off to him. It's not going to be any type of LeBron slander. Any type of LeBron slander my way. I appreciate what he's done for the game, what he's done for the league, what he's done for the game of basketball. And, man, it's just fun watching him. It's fun keeping up with the narrative of the story of every time you look up, it's something that we could say about him, But I really, really hope that the Lakers will allow him to finish his story. Okay. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. All right. Make sure you please like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Again, Team SeatGeek, use promo code Coach Turner for $20 off your first purchase. and some great concerts coming up and events. And use that promo code, man, to get $20 off your first purchase. And for everybody that's listening to me, no matter where you're listening to me and when you're listening to me, make sure you understand that. Make sure you're grateful for every sunrise and thankful for every sunset. Thank you guys for checking out this podcast with me. See you on the next video.